All right, folks, welcome back to the channel. In our previous video, we talked about 3 of the most important things that you need to do to increase your chances of succeeding at the Canada Study Permit application. And if you have not watched that video, look up here or look in the video description and go and watch that video. That's very important if you are trying to go to Canada to study this year or next year. But in this particular video, we are going to be answering the basic question, why? Why study in Canada? You know, what are some of the advantages? Why should you consider studying in Canada? And so if you are thinking about Canada this year, this is the video for you, and I hope that you watch and you share. I have my colleague Alfred here as usual. Alfred, what do you think?
Yes, so Paul, thank you. Canada is a very exciting place to study, especially for international students, people coming from the global south and all that. And for me as an African, Canada is a place that I would recommend to most Africans, specifically because of the reasons that we are going to give. And yes, there are some general reasons that you must consider when you want to study in Canada. But for me, the most important thing is career path.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of people desire study abroad because they want to build good careers for themselves. They want to make meaningful impact in their lives through their career.
That's right.
And Canada offers that opportunity. First of all, Canada have wonderful and amazing schools. In fact, they are ranked among top 3 of best destinations for international students in the world. And they have good schools across all their province.
That's right.
So you have a lot of choices. And if you are coming from Africa, the Canada education system kind of is very closer to what we do in Africa. The kind of courses that they offer really favors Africans a lot.
Yeah, and especially like people who are coming from colonies that are European for the most part, like British, maybe even French a little bit, because Canada is like a blend of the American governmental system and then the European, especially British governmental system. So the education system is very similar in that case. So if you're coming from, especially like British colonies like Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, you will find that Canada's education system is very close to what you already know. Of course, there are some differences, but it's very close. I like that you bring that up. That's a very good point, Alfred. What other reasons are you thinking about?
And the good thing is that, Paul, for Canada education system, whether you are a French-speaking student or an English-speaking student,
there's something in there.
There's something in there for you.
That's right. Yeah.
Most of the Canada schools have programs that are simultaneously run in English and French. That's right. So if you want to study in accounting in French, you get a school to apply to. That is not possible in America, right? If you want to study anthropology, if you want to even study linguistics, whatever you want to study in French, you get in Canada. If you want to do your research in French, you get. And if you want to do your research in English, you get. So Canada is a good destination for English-speaking students and French-speaking students as well. Now, the next most important thing that people should consider studying in Canada for is the opportunities that you get during your time of study.
Yeah, that's very important. Like the learning opportunities, internship opportunities. Is that what you're thinking about?
Yes. What I mean is that the learning opportunities and the internship opportunities and the opportunities to also do something to earn money.
Money.
Yes, because
important.
Studying abroad in US, in Canada, and elsewhere is expensive. So, for example, when you come to US, you are only limited to on-campus job for 20 hours a week. Right? But in Canada, you are not limited. You can do your you can do it either on campus or off campus.
That's right.
Right? Initially, it was also 20 hours, but now it has been extended. I think you can even work
I think it's full time. I think it's full time.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and if you have a spouse, I think it's also full time. And even after school, I'm sure we'll talk about after school. But even that is like even much better.
So for example, my brother is in Canada and he didn't get scholarship when he went
started
to Canada.
the program.
He started the program, but he had to work and pay for his tuition. And he has been able to do that to graduate.
Yeah.
Because he has a job which pays well, and because it's not on campus job, it pays well, right? And he's able to use that proceed from that job to go to his to study, which is something you not get in the US.
That's right.
So it is important. And if you have a spouse, your spouse can work full time whilst you are in the school.
I was going to ask you that because I'm very concerned about like family life while also trying to study, especially upper level master students and PhD students who want to travel with not just a spouse but a child or children, like number of them. And sometimes you'll be asking yourself, okay, how do I make this happen? I have a lot of friends who have been asking, okay, how can I, go and study, petroleum or whatever that I want to study, but also go with my family and be able to juggle both, taking care of them. I think what Alfred is saying basically is that there's opportunities for you to find, some jobs, find some extensive internships that would help support you and make some money, while you're a student, so that it doesn't become like, oh, you are quitting life to go and become just a student. But it's actually an extension of life where you can study and continue to work, if you're already like actively working and worried about that.
Yeah. And for your spouse, right? If you are, your spouse can work full time whilst you are in school. Unlike US, your spouse can never work. But in Canada, your spouse has a working permit, work permit that he can work full time, and that is good. So people who have spouse and children, sometimes it's really helpful to go to Canada, right? And your children can go to school for free. Children who are below 16 years, children, like, they can go to school for free. So it's like whilst you are in school, your family is giving you wonderful
your
support.
family is taken care of in many ways, and your spouse working is like a big plus. Because in the US it's a very tricky situation. I'm sure that it has to change at some point, but you don't want to get yourself in a situation where your spouse is bored, your spouse is not doing much, and you are the only one achieving and working and being the breadwinner. But that's why you need to consider Canada, maybe.
And the good thing is that, assuming you are studying for 2 years, or you are in a PhD program, before you are done with your program, your spouse might have gotten his permanent residence.
Talk to us about that.
Yes, after your spouse worked for 1 year full time, she qualifies to apply for PR.
That's right. You qualify.
Yes, you qualify. So whilst you are in school, assuming I am studying for 2 years, I came with my wife. In the first year, my wife worked for 2 years, for 1 year whilst I'm in school. Before I graduate, my wife can apply for
a PR,
permanent resident. So even before I am done with school, my wife will get her permanent residence.
Assuming she does everything right.
Yes.
Right? Assuming she does everything right and everything is good and you qualify. That doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be giving, but at least you qualifying is a big thing. So assuming you do everything right, by the time you are done, your spouse would have that. And if you want to stay in Canada, then it's like
there's no need for you to think about anything. And most people who apply for through the spousal whatever get the permits, right? Because as you know, we will come there. Canada is looking for people. Huge number of people to work. There's workspace, and that's the next thing that I'm going to. So another reason why you should consider studying in Canada, aside all that you said, is the fact that after school you have a job waiting for you. It is easy to get a job, and after school, based on the level of education you had, if you studied in a designated institution for more than 1 year, you can get a 3 years work permit.
That's right.
And within that 3 years work permit, you can apply for your PR, even if you don't have your spouse.
That's right.
Right. So look at that opportunity. So it's like after your studies, you are transitioning into the workforce in Canada. If you want to stay, if you want to get experience before you return to your home country.
Right.
So that is not done in US. Yes, in US they have the HB1 or whatever.
There's even the OPT,
OPT,
and the HB1. But all of that is
it's not guaranteed.
It's slightly tricky. So comparatively, Alfred, I think this is a very good thing, especially for students. Yeah, of course. The expectation is that as a student on a temporary study visa, you go back to your home country, and that's for sure. But many students, they want to get some experience, they want to interact with the industry, at a global level, and so on and so forth. And the opportunities available in Canada is always huge. Like the study permit, allowance that you get after your education is 3 years. Compared to the US, it's only 1 year. And if you need to transition from that 1 year program, you have to be in STEM. That's where maybe you will qualify for a 3-year study permit and all of that. It's all just very cumbersome. So Canada seems like the ideal place for a post-graduation career experience or initial exposure to what your field and the industry looks like over there. And even if you change your mind and you want to stay in Canada permanently, I think what Alfred is trying to tell us here is that the opportunities are available, right? Yeah, the opportunities are available.
It's very easy.
Of course, you have to apply, and somebody's going to review and decide whether you qualify or not. But at least the opportunity is there, right? The opportunity is there, so that's helpful.
In most cases, Paul, those who apply get it. There are so many people who get it when they apply because a lot of people do the right thing and they get approval. The final thing I'm going to say, aside the other usual is a good place, they have wonderful schools, is that studying in Canada could be affordable than elsewhere, right? It could be very, very affordable because, as I said, you have the opportunity to work and study, so you can afford your tuition, you can afford your living expenses, unlike other places. So why don't you focus on applying to schools in Canada?
I mean, I think that Alfred, even the affordability, the working to be able to get money to pay it is one thing.
Yeah.
And it's another thing, the cost of it itself,
Yes.
right? Compared
Yes.
to the US,
Yes.
some institutions, tuition alone is like $50,000 a year. But in Canada, it's possible to get a tuition that is like $22,000.
Yes.
I've even seen somebody pay like $5,000 a year or $6,000 a year. In some institutions, $8,000. I'm like, what? That's so cheap, right? Compared to other places. So the affordability thing, I think that's one of the things that is making Canada stand out completely, because it is very possible to self-fund your education in Canada compared to the US. Unless you're very rich, you can never really study in the US without a scholarship.
Yes, and it's true. Most people study in Canada without scholarship. Because it's very affordable. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let us know what you think in the comment description. Make sure that you join our Telegram page for more discussion. We have a wonderful and amazing group where we answer your questions 24/7. Make sure you also subscribe, like, and share this video. Always remember that theology is fun.